as we're getting ready to do the show, just promise me that you won't bitch about Batman versus Superman during this podcast. We've done 4 of these tonight. Okay, this is the 4th one. Let's try to keep it on.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to the Midweek War, or however Garza says it in Spanish.
Let me try. La guerra de la mierda de la semana.
I think that's probably La guerra del mala semana. Yeah, I know like guerra is war and semana is week. I don't know how to say middle.
Mieda.
Yeah.
Got it. No, miedo is fear. Mieda is middle. Don't get those 2 mixed up.
Sure, that's fine.
Todo miedo.
Yes.
Todo miedo.
Matt
all the fear.
All of the fear. We're here to talk Lucha Underground. And back by popular demand, it's Matt Carlins!
You asked. We made it happen. I'm here.
And there is a very specific
remember. I am here to remind all of you why you didn't want me around in the first place. So let's go through this process together.
It's okay.
Let's watch some flippy stuff.
We all love you, Matt. We all love you.
I love me too, but even I get a little tired of me every once in a while. Mike.
Yes.
What is your uno palabra?
Mi palabra por todo semana. No, for this week. Ouch.
Ouch. It applies to a lot of things, actually.
Whatever declaration of pain you want to appear over my thought bubble, that's it.
Whatever Batman comic sound effect bubble you want to put over this thing right now. All Zoinks. Right. Yeah.
I don't know if Zoinks works.
That's Scooby-Doo.
No one lost their glasses or solved a mystery yet. We could be there. Close. All right, Matt, what about you? ¿Cuál es tu palabra?
So many choices, but I'm going to go with vertebraker.
And that could apply for a few things, too.
It's been a while. I missed you, vertebraker. Been a while for that, too. ¿Cuál es tu bueno?
Mi bueno this week. You know, it's tough to nail down a bueno this week. It's not because the show was bad, far from it. I'm gonna say the toast to El Dragon Azteca.
Yes, the begrudging toast.
Part of me hopes that Dario poisoned that tequila. I don't know why.
I know one thing for sure. Tequila is Rey Mysterio's go-to. I mean, there's no doubt at this point. I mean, he's giving it to little kids. He's sharing it with his arch nemesis. It's just like, you got tequila? Well, all right. Yeah. We're cool.
Although there was no famous bee commercial this week, and that made me very sad.
It was too bad.
It made me very... I understand we're a darker tone this week, so we can't really have famous bee fucking up the works. But yeah, the segment between Dario and Rey Mysterio was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. Dario Cueto office scenes are just like the jam of Lucha Underground. It's so good every time, and that one was especially good, especially as Rey Mysterio accuses him of killing El Dragon Azteca. And,
by the way,
and Dario having to elaborately swear to the gods, Allah, Jehovah, the whole gang, that he had nothing to do with it, which was true.
Technically, it is.
Okay, he had a little bit to do with it, but he didn't do it. But Ray didn't believe it.
Now, if only there was some kind of undercover cop that Rey Mysterio could talk to maybe sort this out. If only. Hashtag Lucha Undercover. Also, one other thing we have to mention about that scene before we go to your bueno. The plaque on Dario Cueto's desk.
Yes, I noticed it too. I forget what it said.
Oh, I remember exactly what it said.
Really nice shot across the desk, and you just kind of looked at it for like a good 5 seconds. What did it say?
I'm kind of a big deal.
I'm kind of a big deal. Somebody sent that as a gift. So good.
So good. Dario Cueto is the MVP of professional wrestling. No, not that MVP, but the MVP. All right, Matt, call us tu bueno this week.
You kind of stole it from me just because of Dario's just backstage awesomeness. But I'll jump to the main event. The end of the main event. I mean, Vampiro's been playing it real close to the vest all season, but you know what? When his boy's about to get demolished, clearly there's still something going on there. Vamp gets up, Vamp gets in the ring. The fans, for reasons I can't possibly fathom, somehow think, ancient retired wrestler has a chance against new monster guy. It ain't happening. I knew he was dead meat the second he stepped in there. So
he might as well have had a red Star Trek fleet.
Yeah, he beamed in. He beamed in with the red shirt on, and just got. And it didn't even save poor Pentagon. Poor Pentagon still got.
Yeah,
I put through the table, but you know what? I'm doing a preemptive good on this because as heartbreaking as it was for me to watch Pentagon helpless against the mighty Matanza, this is the way I wanted it to go in that main event. Because you don't want to go backwards on Matanza. You put in all that work, so he's got to crush. So if you're going to crush, you crush all the way. And you send Pentagon Jr. back to the dojo to train again so he can come back bigger and badder and better. You got to break him all the way down so you can bring him all the way back. So you don't half-ass it. You go all the way. And that's been the best thing the Lucha Underground has done the past 2 weeks. No farting around. We are doing this. We're doing this Matanza thing. We promised you the scariest MFer unstoppable monster in the history of pro wrestling. And damn it, you got it. You wanted it, Mike. You wanted this. And now you're getting it.
I'm so excited for this. Basically, I was doing a live tweet at Lucha Underground. And my live tweet, once I saw, was it was just a GIF. And I said, spoilers for the ending of hashtag Lucha Underground. And it was just a GIF of Bane breaking the back of Batman. That's basically all it was. Like that was the end of the show. It was just, okay. And to be fair, though, Pentagon is no saint. He has broken his fair share of arms. He even threatened to break Dario's arm to get that match. Now, I want to say this. I can't wait to see Matanza in like a no disqualification environment. I think that'll be fun. Because that just gives him more toys to play with.
Exactly. Not that he needs many, but crying out loud. Big boys. Getting it done right now. All right. Where are we? Qualis to Malo.
Oh, me Malo this week. I don't know what we're doing with the crew, but I think we can move on from what we're currently doing with them. It's not that, the guys are bad, but I want to move on to the next phase of what Cortez Castro's doing.
You are just like me. You're dying for either him or Joey Ryan to have their cover blown.
Yes.
You cannot wait for that moment because you know it's coming.
And Joey Ryan hasn't been exactly careful with their cover in the first place. And now that, they came to the temple looking for Dario. Now Dario is back. Fully back.
So it's got to go down, right?
There needs to be follow-up on this. I need it real soon.
I need closure.
Yeah. All right, Matt.
This is going to go down. And I would also like to see them go back to the chief because I miss her. What was her name? Detective Vasquez?
I believe so, yeah.
I swear it's from another movie. Maybe that was on purpose. I don't know. Okay. my mellow for this week, a little bit broader, and this is something I almost never complain about with Lucha Underground. But I thought the matches were below the bar this week. Specifically, the Crew versus Johnny and Taya. I even thought the Trios tag match, it felt disjointed. It felt overly edited. I don't want to say that because I don't know. They just felt off. And after Aztec freaking Warfare last week, when you just got like a flurry of just nonstop awesomeness for the whole show, you know, they didn't really have like the best in-ring stuff to throw out there this week. And I think the contrast really didn't help, and it really stood out.
See, I can understand if maybe like this was filmed with the same crowd as Aztec Warfare, that everyone was a little tired. Yeah. I can understand that, and you know, it happens to the best of shows. Like this felt a little squashy for me the whole show, like a little squashy. Like obviously, Team DisFuncTrios wasn't going to win, wasn't going to lose. Obviously, Mariposa wasn't going to lose in her debut. Obviously, Matanza wasn't going to lose against Pentagon. Like, it felt like... And granted, we generally don't have this complaint with Lucha. Usually, if it's a match that feels like that, they'll flip it a lot of times. And they didn't do that this weekend. You know, it just fell a little short. Not to say that the quality wasn't there, but it seems like people were a little tired.
It's just... how to describe it? Yeah, it just felt. It felt like, yeah, you can only go up so high, and then you got to start coming back down. It felt like you just had to come back down, so you can bring it back up again. You have to have these shows sometimes.
I think it also.
I remember that we had these kinds of shows last season in Lucha Underground. We were like, "What the hell is? Nothing's happening. What's going on?" And then things just wound right back up again. So, for the purpose of pacing out a whole season, perhaps this is necessary. These people are television professionals. I'll trust them, like we always do.
I think it probably also has to do a little bit with the fact that we got Mariposa and Matanza on the same episode, and they're both essentially doing the same gimmick. Like both being badass new monsters.
Trying to figure out that what's going to happen if Mariposa has a match with Matanza. I don't think either of them would be able to hurt the other one. Go on forever.
Yeah, I mean, I did love the Mario the Moth segment with Mariposa, though. And I don't know where this area is where dudes just hang out in suits and lucha masks. I need to find it. But apparently, they're in rough parts of towns because Mariposa just straight up breaks some dudes' necks.
Yeah, we added to the body count this week. Obviously, not like suggestively behind a closed door with yelling and screaming. No, we got like snap a dude's neck in front of your face kind of body count this week. We go, oh, that's another one. And away we go.
All right. So I gave my malo already, right?
Yes.
Okay. Mi Cambio this week. I thought the Disciples of Death were dead. I thought they were dead. I thought
they did suck them out with their lightning power, didn't they?
That's what I thought. I thought Mill had killed them. I'm just misunderstanding this part of it. But you know, maybe a little bit of clarification on how they're still. I mean, I guess if they're Disciples of Death, they can't really die. Katrina can just bring them back up with the Rock of Power. But I wouldn't have had Ivelisse be eliminated first in that match, though. I felt that was a disservice to that match.
Elimination thing seemed like unnecessary. Yeah. I didn't really think it added much to it other than force a couple guys to take a pinfall that maybe they didn't have to take. So. Yeah. But it was fun watching Son of Havoc pull it off at the end. You know, now you know who the boss is of that team because he did it. All right. My cameo, getting back to Mariposa, a.k.a. Mothra.
I still think that's a better name. I know they probably aren't allowed to use it, but Mothra is such a great name.
Seems to me that this is a situation where it's difficult to translate the reality you create in the vignettes into the live professional wrestling environment. So Mariposa is infinitely stronger in the vignette where she is snapping necks and doing kung fu, and then she gets into the ring and it's like for lack of a better term, it's like Shane O'Mac punches and some other stuff, and then it's the Vertebreaker, which was amazing. So this is always a tricky thing because the vignettes are awesome, and sometimes they do an awesome job of calling back to the vignettes. The ultimate example, of course, being Cage, who was impervious to glass, which was clearly established in the first vignette that they ever did for him in season 1. Look it up. And but in the case of Mariposa, the powers that she exhibited against mass random lucha guys in the streets didn't necessarily show up in the ring. And if you can't do it, if you can't maintain that kind of like a level correlation between the two, you need to like correct one or another. So Mayor Mariposa just kind of kicks ass and doesn't actually kill anybody. And then that way it's not
kind of like the way Cobra Moon did.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think I forgot Cobra Moon.
Yeah,
I think my brain deleted her. I'm sure she'll be back.
All right. Before we get to our rankings, Eamon could not be here this week, but he did send along some notes.
He is riding down the wagon train to Dallas, Texas.
Yes. By the way, if you are in Texas for some reason relating to wrestling and you see Eamon or someone that looks vaguely similar to Eamon, just go up to them and chop them.
No. If you see a lost and alone independent wrestling announcer, please find him a place to stay, a safe place to stay, so he doesn't have to sleep next to the dumpster behind the Hyatt Regency. That would be bad for everybody.
And
it's not where you want to be.
And then chop him.
And then choppy.
Choppy. But Eamon ranked Lucha at what is this? Number 2 this week. Eamon says, I know. He screamed. I'm not going to scream for Eamon because I have a much deeper voice. He said Lucha was still really good this episode. Particularly loved the Trios Championship match and the debut of Mariposa. If he had anything he'd have to change, he would have loved for Matanza to use some sort of submission to break the back of Pentagon. It really would have sold it for him. Yeah, I can see that. I can see
that Pentagon's back is broken, or is that just kind of like us transmitting our Bane thing onto him?
I'm pretty sure Matanza broke his back and made him humble. Pretty sure.
I really can't wait for the Rocky IV style training vignettes with Pentagon Jr.
I hope they involve nunchucks.
I hope so. I hope they go all the way. I hope he's getting chased by the KGB in their cars. I hope he's climbing up a snowy mountain. I hope he's like lifting wheelbarrows with like 13 other luchadors in them, while they're watching them.
I hope it's because we still haven't seen everything from those trailers for the season. We still haven't seen Killshot become an assassin.
That's true.
I hope that's part of the training montage. I don't know how that would work, but I hope it's part of it.
I was so excited that we got the one shot of the shot of whenever the trailer debuted, there was that shot of Mariposa where she's walking away. And it was from that vignette they showed tonight. And when we saw the trailer, we were like, what in the hell? Who? What? Where? Nothing. None of this makes sense. What is happening here? That was one of like the great mysteries of that trailer, which is like we had no clue who it was, where it was, what was happening. And finally that's answered. So I can rest.
Alrighty. But Matt, where'd you rank Lucha this week?
I ranked Lucha number 2. It hurts me. But you know what? This is the podcast for people who love Lucha Underground. But sometimes even we sometimes have to, it's like having kids. Sometimes your kids don't always do what they're supposed to do. Sometimes you got to scold them. Sometimes you got to tell them, hey, the kid across the street, he was better this week. Do better next time. So, but you know what? The nice thing about Lucha Underground, the nice thing, the best thing about Lucha Underground, it's all going somewhere. So enjoy the ride. But at the same time, there are little things here that didn't quite work for me. Ring of Honor was awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoiler alert for the other rest of the Midweek War.
Yeah, honestly, Lucha's number 2 for me this week too. If Ring of Honor didn't have the one big segment that Matt and I went on for about 10 minutes, Lucha would have been number 1 again this week.
Check out the Ring of Honor version and you'll see what we got so excited about.
Right. Oh my god.
Hey, the clothes were coming off and we were fired up. Anyway,
credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Lucha, it just feels like Aztec Warfare was a really great night. A really great night. Like you're going out to a bar, you're meeting some hot women, you're having some drinks, you're doing some shots, and then the next day you just have the worst hangover ever. And it kind of feels like this was the hangover episode. Like you're kind of reliving stuff like, oh yeah, big monster showed up. Like, oh dude, 2 chicks fought. It was great. Like, yeah, you're kind of reliving everything. And while even a deflating episode of Lucha Underground is still better than most things on TV. In fact, it's better than the other 2 shows we reviewed that aren't Ring of Honor. It just not. Did I think that Lucha Underground was going to run the table this season for being the best show? No, I didn't. They've ran it so far until this week, but this week, it's just a slight drop. And honestly, if they changed 1 or 2 things, it very well could have flip-flopped. Easily. But still not a bad episode, just not the best one this week. There was some stiff competition.
Yeah, good stuff this week. I was trying to make sure we don't forget to mention one of these things. The other backstage Dario Cueto's office segment with Katrina, and Katrina teleports in, and at least on entry, Dario basically no-sells Katrina teleporting into his office.
Well, he does now because he has a fucking monster protecting him. Like, I remember when Katrina first showed up in Dario's office, Dario was like, oh, I didn't know Mill wanted that. Oh, he can have whatever he wants. And now,
where the hell did you come from?
He teleports in. He's like, oh, I didn't see you come in.
Of course they come in. He's a freaking ghost. When she left, he was a little like, oh.
Yeah. Also, before we sign off, I have to give a shout out to one of the men that makes this all happen, Robert Rodriguez and his band. Was the house band on Lucha Underground this week.
You know what? It was awesome to have the house band back. That felt good.
God, the house band. Bingo, I believe. I forget what the name is, but as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh, look, it's the guy who, let's face it, is essentially responsible for all this. So thank you, Robert Rodriguez. And I want to put forth this theory. I know there are people watching. I was recently at the gym, and From Dusk Till Dawn was on the Sci-Fi Network, which is also a Robert Rodriguez movie. And honestly, if you watch that movie, like, through the veil of Lucha Underground, a lot of similar themes, which is awesome. I want Dario Cueto to have owned that bar in From Dusk Till Dawn. And then when that went tits up because of all the vampires, that's when he decided, hey, let me start an underground fight club. I really want that to be in canon. It would serve no other purpose than to just make me smile. But I really kind of want that to be a thing, and then maybe we can eventually introduce vampires into Lucha Underground. That's all I'm saying. That's all. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
We got ghosts.
We have ghosts. Gangrel's looking for a job, presumably. But yeah, I mean, we can do it. I think it'd be fine. So Matt,
where do you think in canon? Where do you think Mill's throne went?
That's an excellent question.
Do you think they packed it into the back of the trailer since they don't need it to haul Matanza around, or like, what do you think? Where did that go?
I would want to assume that Dario Cueto, because he was on the run, would want to properly dispose of a throne made of dead skeletons.
Yeah.
Because I'm imagining that no one was prosecuted for the murders of Big Rick and those other people whose heads made up that throne.
I'm just curious if it's like... Maybe I'll have to take a closer look at some of the exterior shots. Maybe it's sitting outside, next to the wood pallets and the whatever else they have outside.
How great would it be if Dario just threw like a throw rug over it and that's the chair he's sitting on now?
Just like, I'm waiting for them to do a scene in the locker room or the basement where there's just like something off there vaguely shaped like a chair with like a big sheet over it. And you're just like, it's just, they put it in the locker room. That's nice.
Hear that, or an internet exclusive thing where you just see Dario forcing Katrina to move out.
Get this stuff out of here by next week.
Like Mills comically has it on his back, like with one strapped around him, like, ugh, why did I make this thing so heavy?
And Katrina's got like one of those white office boxes and she's just stacked full of candles and she's just hauling it out,
Well, no, like she grabs the box, disappears, the box is outside, and she pops back in. She's like, what is taking you so long?
That's awesome.
Because I assume she can teleport, solid objects too, as well as herself. Yeah. So Matt,
sky's the limit.
That is Sasha Banks' theme. That is Sasha Banks' theme. We will not bring Sasha Banks into this. Where can the good people of the internet find you and hear more crazy theories about Lucha Underground?
I'm not one for crazy theories. I deal in fact because I'm a journalist. And I'm on Twitter at MainstreamMatt with 1 T. And I've been known to write many words for WrestlingMayhemShow.com. So go check that out. And go check out IndieWrestling.us, where I write a weekly Around the Indies column. And more often than not, one or two of your friends from Lucha Underground pops up from here to there. There's even this guy on the Indies mic. It's really weird. I think his name is like B-Boy. He is a dead ringer for bail. It's so creepy. I can't even.
Hey, Matt, when you're dealing with loss, sometimes you see the people you've lost in everyday life. It happens to the best of us.
I know, it's weird, but usually not on the Indies, but it's creepy.
Sometimes almost exclusively on the Indies.
And then there's one guy who pretended he was a Mexican luchador, but he wasn't. He was from Canada, and he disappeared. And there's this other guy who just doesn't have a mask, but he looks just like him. Anyway, go ahead.
You can find me at MadMike4883. You can also find me when I live tweet Lucha Underground every Wednesday night. Who, by the way, Matt, guess who appreciated my live tweet of Lucha Underground this week?
I shudder to think. Who?
The best ring announcer in professional wrestling, Melissa Santos.
Oh,
thank you.
Angel.
Oh, Melissa Santos. She made this podcaster's night. She really did. She really did. She started to like and retweet and everything. I'm pretty sure it means we're dating or it's serious. On some level, it means we're together.
You got kind of a Manti Te'o thing going on right now.
A little bit. And you know what? I'm okay with that. And I appreciate the deep cut for the Manti Te'o reference. We're probably the only two people in the Wrestling Mayhem Show universe who understands that, because not big sports fans among the Mayhem crew.
You're allowed to appreciate sports ball and professional wrestling. When does The Apprentice start? When's the new season of The Apprentice?
As soon as Trump wins the nomination.
That's not true. Our girl's going to be on.
I know.
She's going to be the secretary.
I hope she wins.
No. She's going to be the secretary. She's going to be the one sitting them in the office. She's going to have one line every week.
That's even better.
Arnold, we'll see you now.
Oh, that's even better.
Accounts payable, Melissa speaking. Just a moment. Oh, God. Only on the Midweek War will you get deep cut Office Space references like that. Only on the Midweek War. Just for you guys.
Thank you, Matt.
It's my pleasure.
So, for Matt Carlins, I'm Mad Mike, and yeah, we're gonna have to see you Saturday on the Midweek War.